Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folare. Let's look at the situation over in Edo. As you know, there will be a change of guard. That is to say, the ruling party at the moment, PDP, will be making way for AT that won the election into government house. Now, of course, they should be in the midst of preparations and handing over the whole transition process. But the last time I checked, I think at the meeting that was held, it doesn't seem that everybody was present, and there were some arguments as to not being ready for the meeting. No matter, because I think a member of the transition committee, the Joint Transition Committee, Prince Kassim Afegbua, APC chieftain, was at that meeting. So, and he's our guest this morning. A fine morning to you, Prince Afegbua.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Indeed, our pleasure. Now, clarify that whole area for me, please. Is the transition process going smoothly? You will know much better, but I was hearing something about there being, should it be arguments or a conversation as to the incompleteness of documents to help the process? How did it go?
Well, we haven't concluded our assignment. We are still meeting with the relevant stakeholders with a view to getting a richer information concerning the status report of the state. The government of the day, ab initio, seemed very ill-prepared, to receive us, because perhaps they were thinking that a candidate of their party will win the election. So they never expected that the opposition party in the state, the APC, would defeat their candidate. So the preparations they made was sort of a seamless transition from one PDP governor to another PDP governor. Now that it became an APC victory, you can see some kind of very shoddy job, some kind of hasty job, incomplete and very haphazard kind of documentation in the name of paperless administration that they touted so much about. But of course, that the civil service rule in Nigeria requires that there has to be filing system. Whether you are doing paperless, you have to derive your data from the primary source. You have to refer to memo. I'm referring to memo SYZ on this subject matter and all of that. So when you are running a paperless administration, whether e-service, whether e-government, or e-anything, e-society, you must have a base, and that base is actually your filing system. So we have attended a couple of meetings with the relevant representative of government. We've asked questions, we've raised concerns, we raised queries where it is necessary, and they promised that they were going to avail us quite a number of documents, but we are not actually satisfied with the quality and quantity of the documents they have supplied thus far.
Okay.
There are too many obvious, areas that are lacking transparency, that are lacking accountability and probity, as the case may be. We have seen their financials, we have raised concerns, but of course, as a body, as a committee, we are going to prepare our own reports and submit to the incoming governor. And from there, we'll take up, the other issues that we have observed. We'll take them up. We are meeting with the relevant stakeholders, the security apparatus. Yesterday, we met with the Commissioner of Police. We are going to meet with the DSS, Civil Defense, and quite a number of others, so that we know state of the state of Edo prior to the inauguration of the governor-elect.
So generally speaking, what are some of the key pieces of information that will be expected at a meeting, a transition meeting such as this?
We wanted a situation where the government will be open enough with respect to how they spend taxpayers' money,
Okay.
money that accrue to the state from the
Okay, it's stuck for a while there. Just trying to get from Prince Afegbua what exactly they were looking forward to, but were disappointed by
sorry,
not
I
seeing.
think so.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
you're back online now. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So we expected to know how the government expended revenue allocation from federal allocation, from 30% derivation, from internally generated revenue that has increased according to them. We've seen a trajectory of the accruals, almost 1.6 trillion in the last 8 years, according to them, thereabout. And despite that kind of resources, we also see an accumulated debt of about 462 billion, taking off from 43 billion that they inherited in 2016. And they told us that the state has not borrowed any money in 8 years, and that what we see is the volatility of the exchange rates prior to 2016, and the debt of the state now had to increase to 462 billion. And so we are making a blanket statement in some of our submissions that no bank, nobody should come forward to tell us that Edo State is owing a kobo. Since the government of the day has stated that there are no borrowings, no debts incurred in the process aside from the one he inherited. So that would be a takeoff point. And again, we also wanted a breakdown of some of the issues they raised. If you said, for example, you said you have 40 uncompleted projects, it's our responsibility to know how far those projects have gone. Is it 20% completed? Is it 80% completed? How much have you expended on them? How much are the commitments that we are expected to defray if we are to commence or to complete those projects? But just writing very vague reports that you have 40 uncompleted projects, the status of which we are not aware of, also beggars the question. So the government, I think it was much in a hurry to just hand over to us very wishy-washy reports because they never expected that APC will win. If it were to be PDP, it would be Padi report. But now that it is APC, they see a clearer need or a greater need to interrogate all of the issues they have presented. They call them 5 thematic pillars. 5 thematic pillars that are neither here nor there. In one of our meetings, I had to raise concern that we are tired of listening to literature review. Okay. We are not interested in literature. We want to know how much you have received within the period, and how did you expend these resources? Okay. What are the projects that... One moment, please. What is the cost of this project?
One moment, please. One moment, please. I'll return to the subject immediately. Just to announce that there's a presidential grants and loans scheme for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises we'll be holding, and it's at the Abuja Arts and Culture Center, and we're joining them. But programming continues here, and for those on the terrestrial aspect of our broadcast, they can always pick us up on YouTube, as well as those in diaspora. Okay, so that's just to get that out of the way, Prince Kassim Afegbua. Now, how disrupting is this? Because if it seems, and I say I use the word seems, that they are not able to give you the kind of cooperation and sharing that would be required in a committee such as yours, a joint transition committee. How disrupting is that? Because I'm asking that against the backdrop of when indeed the new governor is sworn in and his administration takes off, they probably will be able to find out a lot. After all, you can run, but you can't hide, is the maxim, right?
Yeah, whether they like it or not, on Tuesday, November 12th, there will be a brand new government taking off the commencement of a 4-year tenure. And that will also given us the opportunity to dig into hidden documents or hidden parts, really, as to speak. From the little we have seen, there is too much of opaqueness, no lack of transparency in terms of openness with respect to documents and financial details of transactions. We have raised query. There are quite a number of platforms, projects that were carried out using Edo State money as collateral from the stock market, and when they come, they build, they sell midway, and you without seeing any equity contribution from the state government. Ab initio, the resources are from the state, but along the line, the state will just disappear. And then they now tell you that this property, these projects are personally driven by individuals who are investors in the state economy. There are quite a number of queries. There are a lot of questions to be answered. The same way that we will be asking those questions, we will also be letting the public know how far Governor Obaseki drove the state in terms of performance. And we're also going to let them know the kind of resources that came into the state and how he expended those resources, to the point that Edo State is heavily indebted. Number 3 in the hierarchy of states in Nigeria in terms of indebtedness. That is the statistic from the Debt Management Office. And so there's too much of hoopla, around the Edo geographic space in terms of digital government, telling us that you want to drive Edo economy to a $1 trillion, $100 billion economy and all of that. But when you compare what's on ground with what's on paper, they are far apart. Edo is very beautiful on paper in terms of the demographics, in terms of what they present to us as details of what they have done so far. You will almost compare Edo State to maybe UK. But on ground, Edo is rotten. Potholes infested roads, poor health facilities, and so many other infrastructural decay that are begging for attention. Even the ones that they are commissioning as we speak are uncompleted projects that ought to have been completed.
Okay.
So leaving us with a huge commitment in terms of how to dispense with all of those uncompleted projects. Only today, as I speak to you now, they want to sign an MOU with Cedar Crest Hospital with respect to the Stella Obasanjo rebuilt hospital. It's trying to renovate and expand Stella Obasanjo Hospital, as if Edo people are not professionals when it comes to the health sector. The specialist hospital built by Adam Soshomele was handed over to Obaseki's friends from other parts of the country, not Edo people. They are running it on a lease basis. Made that hospital to be beyond the reach of the ordinary Edo person, a reason that formed part of the motivation of building that hospital has already been defeated by making it an elitist hospital, which was not the motive behind the building of that particular hospital. So, like as we speak now, Cedar Crest is going to enter into an MOU, a PPP with Stella Obasanjo, and I'm just going to use this medium to inform them, alert them that they should please hands up, because from day one we are going to cancel that particular MOU.
Oh dear.
There are Edo people that can run hospital. The Stella Obasanjo Hospital ab initio was built by Lucky Ghanaian administration. If he is trying to expand it and all of that, that's good, but it must be run by Edo State professionals, not handing over hospital to outsiders and make it like a business concern to funnel the pockets of those who do not have their stake in the state. So this is one of several other issues. The Radisson Blue Hotel, we all knew that they took 25 billion from the stock market using Edo State as the collateral. Now they have sold it to some other business interest, and they are telling us in the report they presented to us, you don't see Radisson Blue featuring at all. Osiomo Power Plant, the same thing. Modular refinery in Ologbo, the same thing, and quite a number of others. And I'm sure you are aware that the Accountant General and 3 other persons are with the EFCC now because they were making frantic efforts to make huge withdrawals from the 14.6 billion agricultural loan and all,
wow.
agricultural bailout fund, kind of. So there are quite a number of issues, and I'm happy that the EFCC has stepped in. The information we have, the documents we have, we will hand over to EFCC to dig deeper into the mold and ensure that there is value for money for everything that Governor Basaki did when he was the governor of the state. But anything outside that will not be welcome, will not be tolerated by Edo people. We are going to be standing in to make a difference because we promise that a new Edo is rising. So we have to do things differently. Openness, transparency, and accountability will be the key words.
Okay. You know, when I asked some time earlier how disruptive this might be towards a smooth, undertaking, transition, I was just thinking that, well, this is usually what happens. Well, maybe I shouldn't say usually. It has been known to happen that an incoming administration is coming in to fix a lot of problems. Even at the federal level, we've heard that the previous administration left so much undone that needed to have been done, and now it falls to the lot of the incumbent administration. So I imagine that's very much the spirit in which this project shall be tackled as well, even if the transition committee, for the consideration of the incoming governor and his team, even if they haven't got all that they have, they will be they probably have plans of their own and will not let this frustrate them, because people will, I imagine, tolerate the explanation only for a very short while that so much was not done or was done wrongly by the past administration. Surely you are aware that the position is going to be from the point of view of the electorate, but you are in charge now. That's why we put you there, to fix all of these things.
Well, it's a good challenge, and we'll measure up to that. Our governor-elect is someone who has his own, source and sources of revenue as an individual. So he will not bother himself, dwelling so much on state pulse to enrich himself. No. He's a humble, easygoing guy who has a heart for his people. I know that part of the campaign we rolled out during the electioneering period was to inform Edo people that we were done with Lagos cowboys, those who are economic predictors and buccaneers, who are coming to feast on the state and deal a blow to our collective patrimony. Having succeeded to defeat them in good measures, having taken the fight to the electorates, having convinced the electorates, the responsibility and the onus is now on us to look at the problems and find solutions that will be time-tested, to confront those problems. And if I tell you that the challenge is not going to be a huge one, I will be telling lies, because road infrastructure in Edo State is quite worrisome. Health institutions, the same thing. General hospitals are in a rotting state. Education in the name of Edo Best is nothing to write home about. And so now that we're beginning to interrogate, the specifics, we are beginning to see too much of Obubuyaya. In local language, we call it Obubuyaya, but in English, it is the more you look, the less you see.
Okay.
And we don't want such kind of narratives. We want to be able to do that which we have promised the governor-elect, when he comes into office from day one on Tuesday next week, is going to hit the ground running. He's got quite a number of policy framework, policy initiatives that he will introduce. He has told us that he's going to declare emergency in the health sector, in the security sector, and in the education sector. Edo must regain its lost glory, the essence of our homogeneity of purpose, the essence of our solidarities across different ethnic configurations. All of this will help to promote harmony and some kind of oneness and unity in driving the collective vision that will take Edo to the next pedestal.
Okay, let me bring on the caller. Let me bring on our first caller. I beg your pardon. Good morning, Mr. George.
Yuri. And greetings to Prince Afegbua. Prince Afegbua, I have to say congratulations to you and your team for the good job you did.
Thank you very much.
And a good sense of organization that you displayed to get that victory. Please, through you, I want to convey a message to the governor-elect that we congratulate him and expect him to deliver on his promises. One candid advice I want to give through you to him is that he should look at River State, what is happening between Tubara and Wike, and must ensure that such does not happen in Edo State again. I have gone through the length to support him. He may not be aware, but we will not want to see a situation where affairs degenerate to what is happening in River State now. There are some other states betrayals have happened. I'm not saying he should be a puppet to Comrade Oshomole, but we don't want to see the kind of thing that is happening in River State in Edo State. He should please face his job. I will be the first person to go against him if we see that kind of a thing is trying to rear its head in Edo State. Comrade Oshomole is not the type that will be overbearing on him.
Okay.
We know that he is a man that has been tested in our state. We are not saying the governor should, it should be his puppet or everything he says is what he must do. No. But we know that Oshomole is not like that. The governor must not do what I am saying in River State. If he does that, I will be the first to oppose him.
Okay, Mr. George, thank you very much. Appreciate your call.
Well, can I respond?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me thank the caller, Mr. George, for giving me this kind of very selfless advice. And let me also convey to him that the governor-elect is not one that is combative, is not one that is disrespectful to both the young, the old, and the average Edo person. He is one person who is thoroughbred and who understands the nuances of living a communal lifestyle as Africans and by extension as Nigerians. What binds us together is actually our cultural linkages, our affinities, both political and social, and our readiness to pursue a cause for the common good. So this idea is very much in place when you look at Senator Monday Okpebholo, the governor-elect. So we are not going to be detained by thinking that there will be a River State scenario in Edo State. God forbid. From the little I have seen of him and from the much that I know of him, is one person who is very humble and who also understands how to say thank you for the good you have done to me.
Okay.
And that thank you will be reflected in the quality of projects he will be able to do for Edo State.
Okay.
I had a very detailed interaction with him just yesterday. And I was impressed by the kind of things he wants to start almost immediately once he takes over on Tuesday.
Okay, that's the incoming governor.
Yes.
Okay.
Incoming governor.
I beg your pardon, Prince. Sorry. Let me bring on Reverend Dominic, who has been waiting for a while. Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning, Chief Jory.
Okay.
Good morning, Chief Kassim.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please go ahead, Reverend.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, go ahead, Reverend.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Please, I want to say congratulations to Chief Kassim and his company that they won the election. Congratulations. But Chief Jory,
Thank you very much.
I want to say this for the interest of our nation. I've told you I give patriotic contribution to this nation. I don't support any party any longer. I have heard Chief talk about the transition committee. I want to take you to hear this, that the election is over. To a better Edo, they should pipe down and cool down and calm down and take over the government. There's nothing hidden in government when you are now the head of the government. There's no way this outgoing government will give you everything you want. That's Nigerian politics. But you calm down and stop antagonism and take over the government and have in their mind to do better than the man leaving the office. There's something I watched in channels last night that broke my heart. Chief Okpebholo, the way he was talking down on Buhari government 8 years, punched my heart. Why should we always talk down about the last government and put the whole blame on the last government instead of trying to improve whatever we've done? Whether you like it or not, Chief Kassim, Okpebholo cannot support themselves from this outgoing government. Kassim and Okpebholo told us that this man governing Edo now, that's about to leave by next week, was the best hand, was a technocrat. That's what they told us. And we bought it. Talking now, give me some consign. Election is over. Campaign is over. The only thing we have to do now is to find a way to govern this nation. Why? Both from north, south, and east and west, we are going through economic challenges. The only thing somebody will do to support Mr. President now is to give good governance in this subnational. Because there's something Mr. Tinubu will never do in Edo State or Lagos State. He's like a helicopter over everything now. But very good governance is in the state. Things work well. So let the chief stop campaigning and calm down. Next week they take over the government. Whatever they want to find in the finance, so that Edo will be united for good governance. Number two, one judge said it's obvious. By the way Chief Kassim is saying now, they will dictate for this coming governor. And that's impacting in Nigerian state as politics. What judge is anticipating will happen. Because I've seen the way Kassim is analyzing things. I think he's the incoming governor. But if they can give the young man a breathing space, he can govern by his own understanding. And let there be peace in Nigeria. We've had it bad enough. God bless.